But when I went to college, I started to care more about drinking and partying and fitting in, and was kind of on a downward spiral, going down the wrong path, and was just living a very selfish lifestyle. After graduating in June on Father's Day of 2010, my friends and I were driving home from Nashville, Tennessee, and I got behind a van, and I remember thinking that I should pass them because they were going very slow, but for some reason something kept telling me not to pass them. We're going through cornfields, and we come up to like a really sharp turn, and as we're coming around that turn, we see a car flying towards us in the wrong lane. The car and the van hit head on. I'll never forget the noise it made, how loud it was, and the car's flying up in the air. The car was on this side, it was on fire, and we ran up to it, we called 911, and the man, we couldn't even see him because the car was crushing in on him so much. So we go over to the van to try to help the family that's in the van, and as we're approaching the van, all you can hear is children screaming and a baby crying. They were all fine, the kids were fine. We get there, the mother was driving and the van was smashed in on her. The father was in the front seat, and he was injured, but he was well enough to get in the back and comfort his children. Climbed out one of the windows, and I just remember how calm he was. He shook our hands, looked us right in the eye, and thanked us for helping. And he got on the phone and he said, "Hey, we're not gonna make it. We got in a really bad head-on collision. The kids and I are fine, but it doesn't look like my wife's gonna make it. It looks really bad. Everyone just stop what you're doing and start praying." And then he hangs up the phone, he goes over to his wife, and she's conscious at this point, but she's losing a lot of blood. And he goes over and he holds her hands and he just starts praying with her. I just remember thinking in that moment, like, I don't think praying with her is what I would have done in that moment, at that point in my life. So I was amazed by that. And he was praying with her, and you could see her, she was turning more and more pale and started to lose consciousness. And he just stayed with her and just continued to pray until help came. In Philippians it says, "Don't worry about anything, instead pray about everything, and then you will experience God's peace, which is beyond anything we can comprehend." And looking back, I know that he had that peace that verse is talking about. He had God's peace in that moment. And I just will never forget how calm he was. And leaving there, I just remember thinking, like, why didn't we pass? Why wasn't that us in that accident rather than that family? And I'd like to say that was enough for me to surrender my life to God at that point, but it wasn't. So I continued down the path I was on, living a selfish lifestyle. And about a month later, my friends and I were at a bar, and the next thing I know, I wake up and I'm spitting out my teeth, and my jaw is shattered. I had no idea what happened, but apparently I got jumped, and they had to do surgery on my jaw to put it back together. They put 5 plates and 26 screws in to hold it together. They're still in there today. And it was really hard. That was just a low point for me. I just started thinking about my life and everything I had done up to that point. And I just kept asking myself, did any of those things matter? All the things that I thought were really important, that the world told me were really important, did any of them really matter? I came to the conclusion that they didn't. At that point in my life, I had done nothing that mattered, nothing of purpose that would last after I died. And that's when I decided that I wanted to have purpose to my life, and I wanted to live for something bigger than myself. So I decided to surrender my life to the Lord. Since that point, God has continued to transform me. It says in Romans 12:2 to let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. And I definitely have a different perspective, a different worldview now than I did then when I was living so selfishly. And I pray that God would continue to transform me and continue to make me more like Him, because I want to be the man that He created me to be.